Welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, okay, man, y'all already know it's about that mental health in all platforms across the board. Today, my guest, come to find out, fellow Redbird from Illinois State University, from Central Illinois, P-Town. That's Peoria for those of y'all who not really up on the game, but that's okay though. Man, but joining me all the way from Columbus, Ohio, please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Dr. Ashley Lowe-Simmons. How are you?
I am blessed. I'm blessed. How are you?
I am good. Look here, I am happy to have you on, all right? And as I, led, with the intro, we're talking about mental health. July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And we're going to talk a lot about mental health, but we're going to talk about the things you also have going on. And we're just going to answer some questions. So, all right. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, as I said before, July, Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and what you would like for people to know?
Of course. So Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, mental health is something that we all have, right? It's the foundation of everything that we do, how we behave, how we interact, our relationships, everything. But particularly with the Black and Brown folks, we have we come from a history of trauma, and we come from a history of unresolved trauma, right? And all of us has some level of trauma or something that has impacted our life. And it's that thing that's constantly on our mind, slavery, substance abuse, the crack epidemic. I could keep going. You know what I mean? Fathers not in the home, single mothers, like, et cetera, et cetera. It's a number of different issues. But a lot of times in Black and Brown communities, we have this saying that has been going on forever, that's, what happens in the house stays in the house. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized that that's exactly why we have the problems, because it stays in the house and the tools that we need are not in the house. So the problem doesn't do anything but getting swept under the rug, and the rug continues to it went from a flat rug, now it's a mountain. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot of things that Black people and Black and Brown people are just really not aware of. And so that kind of frightens me, So I'm trying to break the stigma in everything I do to help us to really understand what mental health is, what mental illness is, the difference between both, and that you don't have to be crazy to go see a therapist. And what does crazy even mean? That part.
Well, look, that part right there. You hinted on something a little bit earlier, basically when you said that we were all growing up, especially, look, if you from any African-American home, I don't care if it's from the country to the city, whatever, You've always heard of what happens in this house stays in this house. I don't want you going nowhere telling nobody any type, anything that goes on here. But like you said, sometimes people fail to realize when you, I guess, adhere. Oh,
Sorry about that.
It's all right. We have the power of edit. All right.
About that.
But sometimes when you adhere to that code, situations address themselves in many different forms. So it may be acting out. It may be the way you dress. It may be the way you think. Like things fester. In other forms as time goes on. And one thing I always say around here, the first adversity you will ever have in life will not be from the outside. It won't be from people on the block. It's going to be from inside the home, the people that you grow up with. Sometimes it could be your parents, sometimes it could be other relatives or what have you, but it will always start in the home and then work itself out. All right. Now, one other thing you did touch on, and I want to touch on, is the difference between mental health and mental illness. Can you elaborate, a little bit on that for those who may not be able to separate the two?
Absolutely. I am extremely big on analogies, right? I say that I'm the non-traditional therapist because I really try to break therapy down in a practical way, and not a way that, you know, I'm throwing like pharmacology at you and I'm throwing theory at you and you like, I can't catch up. What are you talking about here, right? So I'm that therapist that has experience and that knows the books and all of those things, right? So when you think about mental health and mental illness, gave you the disclaimer because the analogy I'm about to give you, right? So when you think about mental health and mental illness, I'm gonna switch up the language a little bit so that you understand. So think about mental wellness as mental health and think about mental illness as ill, right? So I'm a words person. So you think about well, all is good. How you doing? I'm well, I'm good. How you doing? I don't really feel too good. I'm ill, I'm sick, whatever, right? So think if you have a common cold. Probably everybody has had a common cold, right? Some of us cough, some of us sneeze, some of us have itchy eyes, runny nose, whatever, congestion, all of those things that can come with the common cold, right? So when you have those symptoms are letting you know that there's some type of illness that's present, right? Now, we all may not experience the same symptoms, right? Some of us may just have a cough. And if you have a cough, you may not have the right medicine that you need to cure that cough. So you go to Walgreens, CVS, the local corner store, whatever. If you live in the inner city, the corner store got everything from food to Pampers to cigarettes to blunt sticks, you name it, they got it. But you go and you get whatever medication that you need. Not saying that just because you're ill, you need medicine, but just for the understanding part of it. You go to the local corner store and you get the medication that you need to help you with that symptom, right? So when it comes to mental wellness and mental illness, mental wellness is the foundation of everything that we have, everything that we do, of our relationships, how we navigate through this thing called life. Mental illness, on the flip side, 1 in 5 of us has some type of diagnosable mental illness, right? However, so that means if you get in a group of people, it's multiple people in here that have a mental illness, some diagnosed, and some have not been diagnosed because they failed to go get the help that they need because they think they're okay. They think they have to be the strong person. They think that because mama said, oh, just be a man, don't cry, whatever, that you good. You're not. And it's okay to go and have a conversation with somebody. You might just need somebody to support you and give you some tools, right, in your toolbox to make sure that you can cope with whatever is going on in life. Mama don't live the same life that you live because mama didn't grow up when you grew up. So the skills and tools that mama got, some may be beneficial, but all may not. So sometimes you got to come outside that door and go on that porch and talk to the postman or whoever, right, to get what it is that you need. So that's, in a nutshell, that's mental wellness and mental illness. Wellness is doing all of those things that keep you well. So eating healthy foods, right? You in the inner city, you are surrounded by food deserts. You're surrounded by a lot of foods that are going to contribute to, diabetes and high cholesterol and hypertension and all of those different things. You are what you eat, literally. Whether that's what you listen to, the music you listen to, the things you see, what you hear, whatever, you are what you eat. And so when you do things to keep you well, you will be well. When you don't go get the help that you need when you're ill, and you don't go get the medicine, or you don't go get the person to talk to, or you don't get the tools or skills, then you'll continue to be ill. And when we don't tend to that illness, what happens? It gets worse. Thus, the society and the world we live in.
Look, first of all, thank you for that breakdown. Okay, no, let's just keep it real, because my next question is, why the stigma of like, okay, you're crazy, or you know what, just go pray, just go, just come over here to church, we're gonna talk to Rev, and Rev gonna, lay the hands on you, and it's gonna be this or what have you.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we're fighting like these traditions in our families that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation, whereas we're the ones who break the cycle, but because we want to break that cycle, we're looked at as, well, you know, I dare you go out of here and share family business, or I dare you, you know, want to go against the family, you know, like all of a sudden there's these norms that you're going against that you didn't have growing up now, okay? They were not around when you were growing up, but the second that you seek that help, oh, well, now, you know, now you out here telling family business and, you know, what type of person are you and this, that, and what have you. I'm like, But can we just talk a little bit about fighting those stigmas and why is it hard for people sometimes to really accept that therapy, counseling, what have you?
Man, how long we got? Listen, oh my gosh, that is like such a like loaded question. You know, like the baked potato that got the cheese, the ranch, the bacon, all of that chives on. That's a loaded question. But my perception is because you talking to the cycle breaker, right? Everything that I have done has been opposite of the way that I was raised to a certain extent. In the Black and brown community, I really think that the stigma is just ignorance. And when I use the word ignorance lightly, because I understand the population and the community that I'm talking to, generally when we say ignorant, there's a negative connotation to it. Ignorance, according to the dictionary definition, is nothing but the lack of knowledge. And because I love Jesus and I always am going to bring some scripture in it, the Bible even tells us that my people perish for the lack of knowledge. We don't know what we don't know. And we're not even willing to take it one step to go learn or to understand. We live in a world of YouTube University. It's so everything we need, we have access to at our hands, but we're so used to and accustomed to the tradition and the way that things have always been done that we don't step outside to see what else can I learn? And then for those few of us that do step outside, we're frowned upon, like, oh, you think you're better than, come on now. First of all, right? And so it's a lot that goes into that. So this is so like onion peels. it's so layered, but I really feel like the stigma is present because we don't have knowledge and we don't know, and we don't even take it a step forward to seek because our interests are not there. Our interests and our values are in our shoes, our clothes, what we wear, what concert, what party, what music, I could keep going on and on. You know what I mean? Like, I can't help but to be real, raw, and authentic in everything that I do. But I really think if you want a simple answer, the stigma is present because of ignorance, period.
Well, look, let me just say this. I loved all those examples. And when you break it down at the end of the day, you know, it really is along with, you know, that it can also be ego, you know.
Yeah.
I know people, okay, walking around with some very large egos, but at the core of all that, they're really fragile. All right. They're really fragile inside. And you pretty much said, like, I dare you go against us. You know, I dare you try to be better than me. Like, who are you to be better than me? You know, but it's not even, you know, that type of thing. I'm trying to get help for myself so I can be a better person going forward. So my children can be better people going forward. So, you know, I can, you know, take my family and my lineage into like the next millennium or what have you, you know, on a, you know, different level than I was raised on. You know? So, no, look here, you better talk. Look, ladies and gentlemen, in case I didn't tell y'all, let me break this. In case you didn't hear what I said at the beginning, I said, Dr. All right, Ashley Lowe-Simmons, okay? All right, LCSW, that's licensed certified social worker. And she's a clinician as well, all right? So she's out in the field doing this work, okay? And a FSW, what does that stand for? Family support work, okay? So she's talking about man, she just not up here chirping to hear herself like, talk. She's actually spitting knowledge. She's like, man, facts, okay? Facts, ladies and gentlemen. So look here, y'all want that other stuff? We got Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz on the other channel, but if you want the real, right? We're gonna stay right here and get this stuff right here. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. There we go. But no, now, along with being, in like, the field of, helping families and helping those, you also do business yourself, okay? Like you are the CEO of a couple of businesses, and let me shout you out for that now. CEO, ladies and gentlemen, of Conversations with a Clinician, okay? I seen the website, dope website.
Thank you.
Founder of Momz OnA Mission Inc, MOMI, yep. I like that. And also, you and your husband have a business, Savvy Accommodations LLC. Can you talk a little bit about those businesses and, pretty much what they do?
Absolutely. So Conversations with a Clinician it started off in May of 2020. Because I'm a busybody and I'm used to doing a lot. I don't sit still often. And so it was birthed from me really sitting still. When the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, Ashley, like you're about to start this doctoral program. You need to be in a good headspace. You need to just take some time to sit still. So I literally was taking about, I don't know, like an hour a day. And I was just sitting still, like listening to worship music, not praying, not worshiping, just like being, right? We do so much that we don't know how to be. And so in my being, when I came up from my being, I literally, I literally heard conversations. And I'm like, I'm a therapist. I talk for a living. What do you mean? And so then I heard, you're the clinician. Like, that's what I just said. So me and God have conversations. Let me just say that. I also have conversations with Ashley because that's healthy. It's called self-talk, right? But then I heard conversations with a clinician. Start having conversations with my people about mental health. You're the clinician. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking like, all right, God, actually it was May of 2020. And I said, okay, cool. I can have conversations. That's nothing. I like talking. I'm a therapist. This is what I do. So then I'm like, okay, May is maybe it's Mental Health Awareness Month. It's so many different months. Let me say that. So many. It was maybe like African American Mental Awareness Month or something like that. And so I was talking to my manager, Janice Thomas, shout out, Empowered, boom, boom. But anyway, so I was like, look, I have this idea. God gave me this idea. I think I'm supposed to start interviewing people about mental health, breaking the stigma. And I had these people that I'm interested in interviewing. And then my now husband, we were just talking at the time. He's a personal trainer, really into fitness. So fitness and mental health, I'm like, yo, they go hand in hand. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm a poet too. So I was like, bet, I'm gonna talk to my other good girlfriend, because at that point I wasn't trying to do nothing by myself. I needed somebody. But now, now it's a little different. So I got with her and we did every Saturday, we did a journaling workshop. It was like a pay what you can. And then we also did, because journaling is healing. Let me just say that. Then we did a midday grind. Me and my husband did a midday grind, pay what you can, where you come in, he trains, we work out, exercise together or whatever. We did it every Saturday. And then every Wednesday, I interviewed 2 people about just the intersectionality of life and mental health. So just anything, relationships and mental health, business and mental health, finances and mental health, just whatever, mind, body, soul, like just all of that. So I did that, got so much like feedback, people interested. And I was like, all right, cool. Start my doctoral program. Now I'm engaged. Like, it's just, we just, I'm like, I'm thinking it's done. That's what I thought. It was just for 1 month. And here we are entering 2 years. But anyway, so it graduated from, now I do a talk show on Facebook. I interview people all the time about, mental health and life, just whatever. And so that's that. And then it birthed into my private practice. And what else? My nonprofit, Momz OnA Mission Inc, for single mothers of color, both Black and Hispanic moms and their children. We have 3 towers that we build our mothers and our families. And that is, I'm certified in financial social work. So we have the financial empowerment portion, which is a 10-week financial education curriculum that has a co-learning game for the kids and the mothers to learn about finances collaboratively. We have the mentorship tower, where older single moms mentor younger single moms. And then the third and last tower is the exposure tower, which has a dual approach to it. So I was a first generation college student. I know the challenges and struggles of just trying to figure out what career do I want to go into. I want to see more than what I've seen every day when I come outside. So the exposure piece is exposing these families to different cities, taking them outside of what they see every day, and then allowing them to, to travel to different places. Hopefully we'll be international soon, I'm praying, because I know what that does to a child's brain. Second is the career piece. So how many of us know somebody that's went to college and not working in the field that they're in? And so my hope is to be able to connect with community partners to allow these mothers to come in and job shadow if they're interested in nursing or law or something like that. Job shadow for like a week to see if there's something because sometimes we just choose things because it sounds good. I wanted to be an attorney because my auntie, I thought she was an attorney. To find out when I visited Chicago in the summertime, she was a paralegal. Like, they do most of the work, but they're not attorneys. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. So no need to pay all that money to go to law school when you can just go be a paralegal if you just want to do the work. You know what I'm saying? So that's my second business. The third business, Savvy Accommodations, is it's in like the initial phases. So we have a car rental business. So we rent cars out to individuals, and then we're growing into a transportation company to where we'll be providing like VIP transportation, celebrity transportation. And then we're gonna, switch it up and do like a all-inclusive situation where you'll be able to stay at an Airbnb, and we had a car there for you when you pull up, so, and that's all about building legacy. We have 4 kids together. So we just want to make sure that when we gone, they're good. Because I didn't have nobody to do that for me, right? I had to build from the ground up. I don't want to leave my kids like that.
Now, let me just ask this question, because, you just broke down a lot of businesses, okay? Mm-hmm. Man, you just broke down a lot of knowledge. Now, let's talk a little bit about having the link or connection between healthy financial habits and mental health, because as you just said, you want to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
And we have people out here, man, if you go on social media, everybody telling you how to get the bag. Oh, do this to get the bag, do this to get the bag, do this to get the bag, build generational wealth, but it's not always that simple. But can you just talk about the link between having healthy financial habits and mental health?
Yep. So let me say this before I get started. I always got disclaimers, but they tell you how to get the bag, but how important is the bag if you get it, but you can't keep it, right? And so that's where mental health comes in. So we can be so busy and so consumed that we want to get kind of keeping up with the Joneses or whatever, but you can't follow the crowd, because social media, they don't do anything but show you the highlights. Right? All the great things that happen. Most people, you come to my social media, ain't no telling what you're going to get. Because I'm going to keep it real with you. I have good days. I have bad days. Today, I'm stressed. I'm highly stressed. Right? But I'm here and I'm good. And I know how to work through that. Just taking a breath, drinking my water. You know what I'm saying? Just little stuff. I know how to cope with the stress, because my stress levels are usually pretty high. But saying that to say, financial health, it starts very basic, from a seed, right? And we learn about finances generally because this is what I studied this is what my doctoral work was about, the financial health of Black and Hispanic families. But we learn about finances from what we've seen our parents do or not do. Mm. So saying that to say, like, when I was growing up, like, think back to your first financial lesson. When I was growing up, I was always told, my daddy, if he didn't do nothing, because I was like pretty much raised by my dad for the most part. If he didn't do nothing, he showed me how to get the bag. Like, ain't nobody gonna give it to you. If you want to eat, you better figure out how to cook, right? And that's a transferable skill even into my work ethic. If I want something, I'm going to work to get it, right? Somebody, you need your yard raked, you need your snow, you need your hair braided. Like, what is it that you need? But you have to know what your goal is, right? And you have to know when to say stop and when to turn it off. Like, we're not working 24 hours a day. Like, that's not even realistic, because we know that we need sleep. Mm-hmm. Right? It's the simple things with our mental health that we often neglect. Sleep, exercise, healthy food, healthy relationships, boundaries, all that stuff is easy. Mm-hmm. But we don't do it because we're worried about getting a bag, or we're worried about what other people will think, or what if I say no, or, all of these different things. So the relationship between both, like, there's a very close relationship. And I can tell you, because I was a single mom for 10 years, and I can recall having to literally look at my multiple accounts when I pull up to the gas station, like, let me see which account has enough for me to put $10-15 in my truck. That was stressful as heck. Like, that's real. And I would legit say at the gas tank, like, this will not be my life forever. This is my life now, because I chose as a single mom to go to graduate school and not to work. It's my choice. That was my choice. We have to learn how to choose our hard. Everything in life is hard. I just put something on my Facebook about this. Everything is hard. You have to choose your hard. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but yeah, we just have to, we got to start small. We got to know where our money is going. We got to know what to say no to. Sometimes you got to look at the price tag, and sometimes you got to tally up that stuff. And so you got to figure out a plan that's going to work for you wherever you are in your life, and be okay with it. Because if you're not okay with it, then that adds stress. And now you're dealing with the lack of money and the stress on top of it. And you don't know how to deal with either. Now you're depressed, right? And now you're depressed, and now you're in a room and you're isolated. So you don't want to talk to anybody. And come on, like, it's a whole trickle down effect. At some point, we got to look at the situation and be like, look, this is what it is, but this is not what it's always going to be.
Okay. I love that, because, at the end of the day, we're talking about accountability, and when you do want to get to the next level, if you truly want to get to that next level, as you said, man, I'm sitting here on pump 5, I'm going through 4 or 5 accounts. Okay, yeah, this account has this in it, that account has that in it. Man, if I transfer this to this and now this to that, I mean, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but you're taking, man, maybe 10-15 minutes trying to get that regulated. Then you got to go put gas in your car, and now you're thinking about, okay, well, man, how far do I have to go? Do I have to go here today? Do I have to go there today? What about this week? You know what I'm saying? Is this going to be enough for this week? So these are just like the little pressures or whatever that add up. And, like you said, if not dealt with, boom, now you're talking about a powder keg of emotions. And now you're running around here cursing everybody out. And now you're mad at the end of the day. Okay. All right. So no, I just want to thank you for those, for breaking that down between, the link between healthy financial habits and mental health. Now, when it comes to like tips, trying to maintain a healthy, balanced lifestyle, we talk a lot about social media, but it's kind of hard, these days not to get caught up in what's going on in social media, even if it has nothing to do with you or what have you. But as you said, sometimes we want to, keep up with the Joneses, we want to pattern ourselves after like celebrities that we may follow or this, that, or what have you, or just, make other people's relationships our relationships for some strange, ungodly reason. I know that happens. But like, what kind of tips can you offer, men and women, just on trying to maintain a balance between social media, their home life, and if they're running a business, how can you, maintain a balance in doing that as well?
So I look at this like tools in a toolbox. Here comes another analogy for you. So I drive multiple cars, but say I have my license, right? I know how to drive. I get a flat tire, and when I get a flat tire, I call AAA. AAA sends out a representative, but this representative pulls out his toolbox and he has a hammer. What is he about to do for me? Nothing. Wrong tool. But I still got a problem, right? So these are tools for us to put in our toolbox. The hammer is going to be beneficial for some problem in life, just not the flat tire. All right. So number one, I tell people, and these can be applied across the board, but I tell people, go get a dopamine shot. Now, when I say dopamine shot, I don't mean go get an injection of dopamine. I mean, go get it, like, you know, when I used to go out, I used to take shots, right? Every now and then, right? So take a shot of dopamine. Where do you get dopamine from? What is dopamine? Dopamine it's a chemical in our brain. It's like the pleasure producing chemical. So like when you have sex, dopamine is produced. When you get a lot of vitamin D, dopamine is produced. Vitamin D comes naturally from the sun. I love to travel. And so a trip to Miami ain't nothing but a couple $100, you know what I mean? So I started day trips, go to Miami for a day, come back home. I got a shot of dopamine and some water and a good meal, whatever, change of scenery. Journaling, I have a ton of journals. I evict my thoughts out of my brain because I understand that they can only stay there if I allow them to. I also understand that my brain is working when it produces thoughts because that's what it's created to do. However, every thought that my brain produces is not real. Just because it's a thought, it's not real. Our brain literally takes a collection of everything that we've experienced in life, and it'll pull little bits and little pieces, and then it'll make this story. And you're like, you need to think about what you're thinking about. So that's another tool. Exercise, which is probably one of the hardest tools, right? Because, I mean, unless you're like a really physical person, I played sports in school, but I'm 37. I haven't really like played sports in some years. But my husband is a trainer. So what I've done is I went and bought a bike. So I ride this little cute bike around my neighborhood. That's movement. Like sometimes we just got to learn how to just get up and understand that something is better than nothing at all. So no, I might not be able to go and train like the bodybuilders, but that's okay because I got my tail up out that house and I went in that gym and I walked on that treadmill. I don't care if it was 5 minutes or 25 minutes. So being okay with just doing a little bit and taking baby steps. I don't know any child that came out of the womb and took off running, right? They had to lift their head up a little bit, then roll over, then crawl, now pulling up on tables. Now them little suckers running off everywhere.
Oh God, yes.
You know what I mean? So being okay with just doing a little bit. Give yourself grace. Life is hard enough. The world is harsh enough, right? You don't deserve you to be harsh to you. Be nice. It's kindness is free. Okay? My next tool is to be kind to you. Just be kind. It's free. You walking around here mad and got an attitude with a chip on your shoulder for what? You got to deal with that. Not everybody else. Let me see what else I got for y'all. Prioritizing yourself.
Okay.
So what does that mean, Dr. Ashley? What does it mean to prioritize myself? Put you first, doggone it. That's what it means. If I pour all this water out of this cup and ain't nothing in there, and I'm the cup, I'm the empty vessel, I have nothing else to give to anybody, not my clients, not my husband, not you, not anybody else that asked to interview me, it ain't worth it. It prioritize you, whatever that means, because it's going to mean something for everybody. It's going to mean something different for everybody. For me to prioritize me, that means, girl, get your butt up and pray before everybody in your house.
Yeah.
Girl, consistently journal. Girl, get up and move your body, because they done told you got this autoimmune disease, but it shall not win and you will move. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Plan out your meals, okay? And go to that grocery store and don't buy them cookies and that ice cream just because it tastes good. It ain't good for you. And you know what the outcome is. Our life, this is my next tool. Your life is merely the outcome of the choices that you make. We have choices. If we choose to do the wrong thing, we can't be mad. Especially if we know the outcome. You know, if you eat cookies and cake, you're going to gain weight.
Come on, Dr. Ashley, you got to talk to him.
And diabetes running your family on your mama and your daddy side. You got to make better choices. It's the hard things. It be the little things that be hard to do that we need to do.
Well, let me just go back over some things that I've heard you say, in this time I've been, speaking to you, choose your heart. Life's going to be hard. Like, man, look, especially I tell this to, teenagers graduating high school. Man, I tell them look, they don't believe me until it actually happens. But I tell them all the time, I'm like, yeah, the day of graduation, that is it. The second, the microsecond, the millisecond you walk across that stage, they put whatever piece of paper, whether it's fake or real, whatever, it don't matter. But when they put it in your hand, that is it. When you walk off that stage and walk back to your seat and sit down, you're no longer a high school student anymore. Now it's welcome to the real world, because the second you leave up out of here, and unless it's college, and even like with college, you still have to make certain choices, in life. So the second you walk across that stage, that's it. Welcome to adulthood. Man, things are going to get weird, and you have to be able to like handle that mentally. And, man, journaling. Okay. All right, man, look, grab that journal, people. Write down your thoughts. Ain't nothing wrong. Man, there's nothing wrong with writing down what's going on in your head. I heard you say self-talk. All right. Look, I know a lot of people are going to be like, man, who you in there talking to? Who you in there talking to? Man, you're crazy. Well, man, I'm talking to myself about me, because I need to check me about myself and what I did X, Y, and Z days ago, and there's nothing wrong with that. You are self-processing, Some people will even call that introspective, almost in a sense, but we're just doing it outwardly instead of like internal. You know what I'm saying? I love this here. Evict your thoughts. Evict them, because what did I talk about? Adversity, being inside, not from outside. Same thing with these thoughts. Man, if you just let these thoughts creep through your mind and you don't put yourself in check and get them out, you may come up with $1 million idea 1 second. 1 second later, that negative, thought or whatever you were thinking about, that's gonna wipe that clear out, because now it's like, nah, I can't do that because I don't have this or I don't have that. Like, a lot of times we defeat ourselves at the door. We don't even let ourselves get started. And, that's why I'm glad that mental health is coming forward, a lot these days. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been around forever. But man, we are now like starting to have regular conversations about this now. It's starting to be a regular part of our society. And one other thing I want to talk about, okay, and I know you can probably agree with me on this. Get you a therapist.
Facts.
Or a counselor.
Facts.
Culturally competent.
Facts.
Man, and if you don't know what culturally competent means, let me break this down for you people. Man, I grew up in a home where if I go talk to someone who hasn't lived my lifestyle, they may not be able to relate to certain things that I say. They may not understand what a hot comb is. They may not understand what like this skillet in this house does, that you cook everything out of this one skillet, all right? Because you didn't have certain pots and pans. Yeah, I didn't grow up in this certain type of luxury, all right? Man, you may not have to have boiled like water on the stove just to have hot water because the hot water went out. You know what I'm saying? Like, get you someone culturally competent who can relate, especially for all my Black and brown people, you know, because I hear sometimes, and I know you hear this probably too, well, I went to therapy didn't work for me. Well, okay, would you give it a chance, you know? Or was the person you talking to culturally competent, you know, to whatever it is that you were talking about? Like, we never consider these things because either it's, hey, you know what, it better work the first time out, or, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, you know, I don't like those people, you know, so it's always something. But tell me your thoughts about that.
Which one? Because you said a lot. I got thoughts.
Well, I'm talking, well, you know what, culturally competent, and, you know, just seriously get you a therapist or a counselor, someone that you can really talk to.
Yeah, so let me say this. Being culturally competent is extremely important because you want to be aware and have an understanding of the individual that you're working with. And different cultures do things differently. Like, I can't remember where it is, but like in some country, if you look somebody in the eye directly, that's a sign of disrespect. Well, in America, if you look at us in our eyes, we know that you're paying attention, right? So you're supposed to. So you want to at least have some understanding of the individual that you're working with. And as a licensed clinician, if you are not aware, even if you are aware, the client is still the expert in their lives. I tell my clients that I'm a visitor. You're the expert. And so with what you are open to sharing, because when I ask questions, it's simply like an interview, right? And the more information you're able to give, the more clinical recommendations I can provide you with, right? So if you withhold, then you are withholding from your own healing and your own treatment. I'm not going to listen, that's why I went into private practice. I'm not going to force nobody to do the work to improve their life. And when people say that therapy doesn't work, the real question is, did you do the work? Because I will quickly say, I am the therapist that gives homework, right? You are with me 1 hour, maybe 2 hours a week, depending on what your situation is. It might be once a month. It depends, right? And so when we are not together, when we press end on this Zoom meeting or end on this phone call, that's when the work happens. The things that I talk to you about and I share with you and I suggest that you do, if you don't do them, you can't say that therapy didn't work, because it takes work to get it done. You just talking to somebody about your problems is not going to solve them. At some point, you got to check your thoughts, change your behaviors, get you a different support system, get you some education, and do stuff a little bit differently. If you don't, then that's your fault.
Look, y'all, I don't want to tell y'all, but, you know, that's that ISU Redbird coming through. On the end of it, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's just how we do here in Illinois. But that's a whole nother show for a whole nother day, ladies and gentlemen. But no, bingo. Did you do the work? Because a lot of times that's what we hear. Well, I ain't going to talk to nobody about this because that don't work anyway. Well, are you willing to do the work that's needed for you to like be better? Do you really want to be better? Because if you don't, then yeah, the road you're constantly going down, then hey, you know what? Do you? Yeah. But this is going to be the outcome of that.
Yeah.
You know? So if you want better, man, choose your heart, homie. Yeah. Choose it. Sometimes, you know, that's going to mean taking accountability of where you are in life, you know, and trying to figure it out and work from there. You know, other times it would just be, hey, you know what? Let me pull back. Let me process. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really where I want to be. So let me put in the work to start getting to where I really want to be, you know? So, man. Dr. Ashley dropping these gems. I don't know if y'all picking it up. We got the good gospel going, y'all, today. You know, I'm telling y'all, we just ain't got no plates. All right. We ain't taking no money today, but hey.
That's all right. That's all right.
That's all right. That's all right. But if people are looking to get in contact with you, they want your services, this, that, or what have you, how can they do so? Social media, website, anything?
Absolutely. I got one more thing before I share that.
Come on.
So one more tool that I forgot, and this ain't even like I'm dropping anything, but I do have a t-shirt line called, it's with Conversations with a Clinician, but it's Mental Health Is. And after each mental health is, it says something, like they all say something different. So another tool is owning your story, right? A lot of times we don't own our stories. What you even said it, like coming on, like every story matters or something. I can't remember everything.
No one is worthless. No story is worthless.
Right. Everyone is that part, what you just said. Okay. So, but saying that to say, when we don't own our own stories, we are like a dam blocking the flow of water, creating resistance. At some point, we got to move that. We got to stop the resistance and allow the water to flow. And that's what happens when you own and embrace your story. So that's a tool. That's a tool. Like whatever you went through in life, it's not worthless. It matters. You can use it. You know what I'm saying? Like it. Own whoever you are, wherever you came from, mama on drugs, daddy a pimp, it don't matter. In special education classes, your story still matters. And it's somebody that's out here that can relate and that's waiting for you to stop the resistance. That's all. Well, how can y'all find me? So you can find me on Facebook, Ashley Lowe, Lowe-Simmons. You can find me on Instagram, and I just changed it, so I hope I get it right. Everybody was like, you got to move from A-Lowe. Everybody knows me as a A-Lowe. So I had to move from A-Lowe to, I'm married now. So, so it's Dr. Dr. A-L-O Sims, Simms. You can find me on Twitter, the same as my Instagram, and you can find me on LinkedIn, Ashley Lowe-Simmons.
All right, there it is. Hey, look, seriously, y'all, like, check her out. And for those of you that are in the area of Columbus, Ohio, listening to this, man, you're going through something. If you just so happen to be of a actual, black and brown, culture or whatever, culturally competent, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're not, still, you want someone to talk to, someone, to listen to your story, what have you, owning your story. I do like the plug though, but
it really was a tool though, like.
No, hey, it's all good, but no, man, like hit her up. As I told y'all, I've seen the website. I see how she has things on there. Man, very easy to navigate, very easy to use. There it is. Okay. So, Dr. Ashley Lowe-Simmons. Okay. Because I put the hyphen in there. All right. We've come to the last question, but the question that my show is known for, and I would love to hear your answer.
Right.
What is the one word that best describes you and why?
I have been thinking about this, and I have two words.
Come on.
The first one is cycle breaker, and the second one is resilient. So as much as life has knocked me down, I keep bouncing back up. So that's it. That's what I got.
Hey, look. You used the word earlier that I would like to use, and that's authentic. Okay. Your style, the way you do things, that's authentic. That's your personal style,
Mm-hmm.
And I think anyone who doesn't, and I know this may sound wrong, but who doesn't take themselves too serious at times, would like to come in and like speak to you like they're going to get you, the full you. And sometimes, they may be in your face. Sometimes, you know, man, look, I'm gonna give you this homework. You gotta do this homework because you gotta come back here, man, you know, ready to go. But authentic, like there's no one like me. I'm not this textbook type of like therapist or whatever, man. Yes. Do I know that side? Yes. But look, I'm gonna give you me, and I expect you to give me parts of you as well. So, authentic. That's what it is. Boom. All right, mic drop. Okay, boom. But no. First and foremost, let me just say once again, thank you for being my guest. Thank you for coming onto this platform. You know, for real. Like, I would love to have you back. You know, some other time, man. Whatever you got going on, book, whatever. I don't care. All right, man. Look here. The doors to Word with Ty Brownlow are always open to you, man. You know, as we talked before we got on, I am, you know, getting into the mental health field myself. This platform will be dedicated to mental health, man, in about another year or so. So we're talking about all types of things across the board. I would love to have you back. And man, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what it is. This has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I have been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me, all social media platforms, Word with Ty Brownlow. Or you can just go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Y'all definitely gonna get this good gospel right here, plus other great interviews. Dr. Ashley, I thank you for being my guest.
You are welcome. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to come on.
Look, that's what's up, man. Look here, man. She's from P-Town, y'all. You're in Illinois. That, you know, for those of y'all that just don't really understand what's going on in the world. But that's fine, though. That's fine. Illinois State in the house, Redbirds. We out, y'all.